Hey, what's going on with it, ladies and gentlemen, ponies and gentlecolts, the one, the only Criticism Guy 2009, aka Nintendofreak2011. Before I do begin real quick, just finished doing a little unboxing and packaging of little Pokemon Plasma Blast. That's my two little cards. Sorry, I'm not going to be giving these away, but you know what? Hopefully you guys can get your own soon. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Let's just jump into it. I might do a part 2 of this video, so yeah, here we go. So yeah, basically Kick-Ass 2, I think this dude's name is supposed to be Anthony Taylor, yeah. So yeah, basically other than that, the thing that made this movie really fucking awesome, that's what his name was, Anthony Taylor Johnson and Marie Corteza. I don't even know what her fucking name is, but anyways, it basically stars him, and it actually features Jim Carrey, which unfortunately, spoiler alerts, he actually ends up dying by Mother Russia, which I'll get into this evil villain soon in a minute, but definitely a really awesome movie. This thing definitely speculated the crap out of me, seeing if it was going to be good or not. But Matthew Mint, he actually makes his little appearance again, not as the Red Mist, but as the motherfucker. And that shit is funny as hell because I don't know why the hell he would call himself the motherfucker, but actually in the beginning of the movie, it kind of explains itself in a certain extent, you know. Basically, other than that, what happens is this dude, he's awesome as shit. He definitely knows how to throw down. He knows how to kick fucking ass, hence the name Kick-Ass. And of course, Marie Cortez playing Hit Girl. Definitely amazing performance from her. Is the actual same girl like she was in the first one. I thought it was awesome as fuck, by the way. Jim Carrey, he did his thing, you know, there for the little comedy entertainment, even though he's already huge as fuck. It was actually the Puerto Rican Columbian dude that was in there too, which was awesome as hell to see. Fucking John Lugizamo. That dude's been in a couple other movies already, so I was definitely awesome to see him in there. Unfortunately, he ends up getting stabbed and he dies in like the middle part of the movie, so spoiler alerts there. By the way, if you don't like spoiler alerts, this movie review is probably not for you. But you know what? I'm gonna be giving a lot of them. So there's Mother Russia right there. She was actually the badass, a little Russian bitch. It's crazy as shit. The motherfucker, of course, played by Matthew Mint. Hit Girl, and then Kick-Ass right there. Night Bitch was alright. I actually thought she was gonna be a black girl, and no, she was a white girl, which I don't know, it kind of like confused me a little bit. And then Black Death was funny as shit. He was awesome as hell. You know, he was actually a UFC fighter in the movie, and then they actually showed Chuck Liddell. He actually played himself. I thought it was funny as shit, by the way. So yeah, let's really start at the beginning of the movie. So basically, it's kind of like that high school drama kind of thing, but they add a little bit of action-packed scenario aspect towards it. Another really cool thing I really loved about the movie, all the little jokes and puns that were on there, how all these little popular girls, they wanted to make her Hit Girl famous. Actually popular in her little high school, but she was kind of a tomboy at that time. But in this case, I thought it was awesome as shit. I loved all the little coordinations they did for her, all the flips, the roundhouse kicks, all that martial arts packed in the fucking one was just pure genius. Shout out to the director that did this because he was just a boss on this film. Other than that, another thing I really want to say about the movie is that one of the guys from the Halle Berry movie, The Call, which I actually only saw on DVD, I didn't really feel like didn't really bother going to see it in the movies because it was kind of crap, if I do say so myself. I thought it was awesome as shit, I'm not going to lie. And with the dude, the black guy, I forgot his name, but he was awesome as shit. He did his thing too. He was the one protecting him because Big Daddy, aka Nicolas Cage, in the first Kick-Ass, he ended up dying from that one guy that was supposed to be Matthew Mint's father in the movie, aka the motherfucker, because he was Red Mist before, now he's the motherfucker. I thought it was a real good change. It was funny as shit. I'm gonna keep playing the thing. It's not that many. There goes Jim Carrey now on the set. His name was Colonel Stars and Stripes. They didn't really say his name that much for some reason. I don't know why. And I know in the beginning of the movie, Hit Girl's training Kick-Ass to, you know, basically defend himself and like not be a pussy most of the time. There's a lot of crazy little sex jokes and infidelities and shit in there. I laughed throughout half of the movie, not through all of it. But you know what? Without further ado on that, let's talk about the overall concept on it. He's just trying to like live. Actually, no, his friend Marie Cortez, aka Hit Girl, she's trying to live a normal high school life because the dad or the stepdad doesn't really want her like fighting out crime because she has to live in the real world, not in the fake world or whatever. Another really thing that made it a little touching sometimes, there was certain moments I did get a little emotional, but at the same time it got crazy. At this one time, the John Lugizamo, the one that was working for Mr. McLovin, aka Matthew Mint, or the motherfucker, if you will, he's giving him mangs. It's like, oh, I want you to be my Alfred. He's like, oh, did you just call me your fucking butler? And his little Puerto Rican New York accent was awesome as shit right there. Definitely badass, since I'm half half of that race myself. The thing that sucked about him is when he went to the jail to see his uncle, he's like, oh, you want to see what real evil is? I'll show you what real evil looks like. And then after that, he stabs a dude. He's like, oh, why'd you give Lou the number and all that after he called him? It's like one of his henchmen ends up stabbing him in the neck, and he bleeds to death. He's like, he dies, which just sucks. He's a little pissed off at his uncle at first, and later on he's like, oh, you just gave me so many ideas to be evil. And after that, he just starts going on a rampage. Like this one part where he goes to a convenience store and he just blasts the living excrement shit out of everything in there. He was robbing this little Korean store out in New York. Even they said a lot of the shit was actually out in Toronto, Canada. Half of it, a little bit was only in New York. Another part that was real cool is when all the bad guys they start wrecking shit up. Especially Mother Russia. That chick is strong as fuck. Seriously. And she ends up getting hers later on in the end, but you know, she throws this propane tank at a whole bunch of officer cops. The shit is crazy as fuck. She blasts the living crap out of everything in her way. She's like a wrecking machine on legs, literally. She's like the freaking Ivan Drago of freaking from the 80s, but in the 2013s. And she even ate the guy in like one of her prison cells or whatever because she was a cannibal, which is awesome. Crazy as shit. And the movie was awesome, not in real life, of course. And after that, unfortunately, Kick-Ass, his father, ends up getting arrested, and he dies later on because the motherfucker said he was looking for him. They take pictures of him, they kill him in the cell, and because he didn't want his son Kick-Ass to go to jail. And unfortunately, he dies, even though he was going to get a good attorney lawyer. And there was a speed chase scene where, like, Hit Girl's blasting the crap out of all these guns and shit like that. It's crazy as fuck. She's awesome as fuck. She's actually going to be in another movie. It's called Carey, the remake for Carey, because I know there was a 80s version before I was born made out of that, but I never got to see it. Another crazy thing I loved about this movie is that they throw a lot of jokes and puns, like I said. You know, they definitely make a whole bunch of freaking real life references to like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and shit like that. I thought that was funny as hell. It's like, oh, it's 10,000 followers gonna follow him. That was funny as hell. I was trying to bend with fantasy and reality at the same time. I thought it was funny as shit. So many Facebook references on there, it's ridiculous. There was this one, I forgot his name, I think it was Atomic Man. He ends up like having this giant bat with like spikes on it. Like how Jim Carrey was. If any of you guys saw that old trailer, it's like, oh, there's a ball. There's a dog biting your balls. How do you like that? It's one of the Korean mafia dudes or whatever. Crazy as shit. Or Asian mafia. I don't know which one it is. It's like, oh, you guys are going to pay. I'll kill you off. Because he was running like a child sex slave thing or something like that. And he ends up getting busted for it. And then the motherfucker gets pissed. So I'm just going out of proportion. And the last part of the series, or actually the last part of the movie, is actually that real huge build-up to where it comes down to good guys versus bad. And one of their friends, Todd, ends up going bad, but he goes back to the good guys. He was kind of a flip-flopper when it came to that. So it was kind of shady, I'm not going to lie. Last but not least, after that, everyone fights. Hit Girl fights the Mother Russia. She almost kills her to death after she like slams her into the bartender area, and she slams her into like the table, and then she uses this adrenaline rush and he's like, oh, you think you're gonna die? And she says, no, that's not what it's meant for. And after that, what happens is that shit ends up going down like a motherfucker. Seriously, Mother Russia ends up dying because Hit Girl puts all these little like shattered glasses into her. She dies. And then the motherfucker and Kick-Ass, they finally fight on top of the rooftop. Shit gets crazy. It gets out of fucking control. It gets fucking bananas like hell. And he ends up falling down in this like company area where like all this glass shatters around him in the old school rundown warehouse, like werewolf house or whatever if you want to call it. And what happens is, oh, help me. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And like the motherfucker, aka McLovin, Matthew Mint, it's like, oh, you don't need to put this to the side. This isn't like fantasy, this is real. When you die for real. This isn't make-believe. It's like, no, I want to die by myself. He just gets stubborn. And after that, what happens is he falls down into the shark tank that he bought, which is crazy as hell. And he ends up dying, and he gets both of his legs severed at the end. If any of you guys saw the ending credits after the credits rolled in the movie. And then after that, they all go their separate ways, like 1, 2, 3, heroes unite. It's awesome. So I love that little power and the little underground area that they have. Oh, and I forgot in the beginning of the movie, he ends up dressing up like a pimp and gets his ass kicked, aka kick ass. I forgot to mention that part. And yeah, there was a whole bunch of jokes and puns in it. And he ends up having a crush on Night Bitch too. He ends up fucking her a couple times. It's crazy as shit. I think this was PG-13 or R, I don't remember. But other than that, overall, very awesome movie. She ends up leaving New York City, Hit Girl, and Kick-Ass does his own little thing. He still ends up being Kick-Ass, but like, it might end up being a Kick-Ass 3 because he wants revenge again, I think, McLovin, because he lost his 2 legs from the shark. It's like, oh, Can't even feel my dick no more. Honey as shit. And he tries to drink his water, and he's trapped into all these tubes and ties in the hospital. Crazy as fuck. So overall, I'm giving this thing a B+. I would have given it an A+ if there wasn't too many crazy little sex jokes and references, because it kind of got played out a little bit, but it was still decently funny. There's a lot of crude, like, dark joke moments in here, so if you're kind of sensitive to that shit, you might not want to watch this. But other than that, real awesome, kick-ass movie. No pun intended. And, fucking A, this shit was awesome as hell. That's all I gotta say about that. So I'm giving this thing 4 firearms out of 5. Definitely check this shit out. I highly recommend it. Like I always say, is what it is, ain't what it ain't. See you when I see you guys. Have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're at around the world. Don't drink or smoke weed at the same time, and don't do anything reckless. Be easy, peace out, see you later, goodbye, all that good shit, and see you on the next one, alright? Lates and goodbye.